plaintiff, Lolita Trish, admits she was a drug addict, and as a result, DCFS took her children away, including the defendant, her daughter. Lolita says she's been sober for 13 years, and she's suing for household expenses, damaged property, and emotional distress. Defendants Felicia Davis and Ronquil Cole say Lolita has been on drugs Felicia's entire life. Felicia claims Lolita is violent, and she has video of Lolita bragging about beating her children. She's countersuing for unreturned property and emotional distress.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
Hi, Judge. This is my daughter, and we're here today because I let her and her friend move in my house, and I tried to help them the best that I could, taking her to work, you know.
When did they move in?
They moved in about October.
Okay.
In 2018.
Was there an agreement to pay?
No, it wasn't an agreement to pay. It was just a difference that my housing for $91 that I charged her.
Okay.
Okay, and that's all I was charging her was $91, and that's to help with the food and expenses.
Okay. And how have you and your daughter gotten along over the years?
It's been rocky.
Why?
You know, but I had drug addiction and DCF cases and things I was going through in life. You know.
Was she removed from you?
Yeah, for a couple of years, yes.
Okay. Let me hear from you. Want to give me some background?
My mom been on drugs all my life. She did crack, PCP, leaf, you name it, she did it. When I was 10 years old, we went into the DCFS system because my mama allowed her boyfriend to beat my brother. And we have footage. I would like for you to show it. She was on Facebook Live bragging about how she had DCFS cases and how she put knives out on us and violent behavior, because my mama always had violent behavior towards her.
Bragging about it?
Yeah. It's in the video.
Let me see.
I'm one of the mothers who will you up. I done had 4 DCFS cases. I done threw knives, shoot them up, guns, everything. Y'all ain't finna run me. When the judge told me that I couldn't beat my kid no more, I put his in DCFS custody. These kids. Y'all need y'all whoop.
You wanna fight your mother? Come on. Come on, I will beat your brains out. You Miss Wing first. You Miss Wing first. Come out, crack your open. You lucky in my seed, I will kill your in here. Can't do with me. You wanna fight your mother?
He didn't hear you.
You want a chance to wrestle with your mother? 61 years old, you wanna wrestle with your mother? Really?
You were swinging first.
Yeah, but you still on crack?
No. I've been off crack 12, 13 years.
Well, you sure got crackish ways.
I do. I don't have crack anger ways.
She's still on leave.
The way they have treated me and everything I have tried to do for them. Unappreciative kids.
You're acting like a kid, though. Getting on Facebook Live talking crazy like that. That's what kids do.
Well, I didn't film it. So whoever filmed it was the one that had crackish ways.
You didn't know you were being filmed?
Pardon me?
You didn't know you were being
No,
filmed?
she does it all the time.
When you were talking and said, yeah, la la, you were looking, who were you talking to then?
It had to be my son or her, one of the two. Because I get in altercations with always.
You were talking to third parties. You weren't talking to them. You were saying what you will do to your children. You were saying what you had done to your children.
Yes.
And so you weren't talking to them. You were bragging, as she said, to somebody, and she said it was Facebook Live, and it certainly appears that's what that is.
It might have been, Judge. But the disobedience they have had through the years, that I have tried to do everything for them.
Yeah,
yes,
be on crack.
No.
Now you did that
Yes,
for
I
them?
did. And the reason they was removed because of my son's behavior, running away and staying out all day. Her and her parties with her friends at my house when I was at work. Okay, and I did run to the streets because that was
Ma'am,
my
I don't
way of
appreciate the
escape.
tone that you're talking to me in.
I understand
you
that,
sound like you're
but-
still a crackhead.
No, I'm
On there you sounded like and looked like a
I
crackhead.
was angry.
Today you sound like a crackhead.
Okay.
So I believe you are still a crackhead.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. And
No,
you
I'm
need
not.
rehab.
No, I'm not.
I'm sorry you kids had to go through this.
I have-
What is she suing you for?
Okay.
All right, yeah, okay. I don't even want to talk to you
Okay,
anymore.
that's fine, Judge.
You're too disrespectful and cracked out.
Okay.
Go ahead. Let me hear. What
haven't
is
smoked
she
crack in
suing you
over
all
13
for?
years,
What do
Judge,
you
Your
all
Honor.
tell me?
She said we suing her because we haven't paid her no rent since the whole time we been there. We only ain't paid her this month because she kept calling.
She said you didn't agree to pay her rent. That's
wasn't
the first
this
thing
the
out of her
RENA
mouth is
agreement
that
right
there was
here.
no agreement.
No, it wasn't for rent. It was for food.
How much?
$91.
And they agreed to pay that?
how's that rent?
Show me the agreement.
Pardon me?
Show me the agreement.
The agreement for
For
pardon
the
me?
$91.
You have that there, sir. I don't
You
have a
gave
copy.
it to me?
No, she did because
No, she don't give me your evidence. You give me your evidence. What are you all countersuing her for? Because she has no evidence to
Emotional
prove her
distress.
claim.
She had 2 relatives to come shoot at me. She been calling the police on me.
What is this you're
And
showing
she
me?
pulled the knife.
Bullet holes?
Yes,
And I call.
Did you call the police?
yes. I had the police report and stuff.
They didn't lock her up? Or she had someone else do it?
I wasn't
Yes.
there.
I believe you. Your claim is granted. $2,700 for emotional distress. I see the bullet holes. Her only defense is I wasn't there. She threatened to do something to you on there. She bragged about all the things she has done to you and invited you to a fight so that she can do more to you. Clearly, she is capable of having someone come and shoot up the car, as I have observed, and her only defense is I wasn't there. Have a good day. Judgment for you all. Your claim is dismissed.
I'm just happy to get this over with, to be done with her.
I'm sorry we're here.
Yeah, you sorry that she brung us here because you tried to embarrass your kid. All right, I'm done.
It is what it is.
Ain't nothing to say.
We done. Thank you.
Plaintiff Robert Trebizovsky says the defendant lives in the same trailer park as he does. And the first time he met her, she was offering herself to Robert for $5. Robert claims the defendant also offered to sell him drugs. And then she had him falsely arrested. He's suing her today for property and emotional distress. Defendant Andrea Petrokopoulos says every time she sees Robert, he's drunk or drugged out. And he's the one who approached her, asking to buy pills or crack. Andrea claims she had Robert arrested because he pushed her to the ground. So she's countersuing for assault.
Start with you.
Your Honor, I moved into this trailer park February of 2016. I had seen Andrea around the park, living with other men, and arrests going on to where she.
What do you mean, other men?
That she
Other
lived
men
with.
aside from who?
Different men that she had lived with in the time that I had known her in the park.
Like how long?
To,
Was she living with each man? How many men? Let's start there.
to back up, one man she was living with, she had a baby, gave the baby away for adoption.
Okay.
Then she
How
turned
long did
around.
she live with him?
I don't know.
Okay.
I had just moved in right around February.
But you saw that. Next guy.
She had him arrested. Then at a lot trailer 2, there was a window getting broken. The police over
No,
there
we're
and
talking
another
about the
guy
men
getting
she lived
arrested.
with.
Yeah,
The men she lived with. One, she gave a baby away with.
right. And then
The second one was,
at lot 2, she moved in. And
what happened with her and that guy?
I don't know, but
I'm still with
police
him.
came.
And then what other guy? She moved in with another guy?
No,
Just two.
that I know of there. And I never
Well,
met
that's
her,
all you know. She had two different men.
that she lived with.
Yeah. Over the course of how long?
3 years.
A year.
3 years?
I was with one guy for 3 years. I
Right.
broke up with him
Okay.
and got with somebody else.
What else you want me to know?
I seen her going in and out of other trailers, and that was talk around town to her business. And later I found out how she was scamming older men and having them arrested. by when I first met her face to face, she knocked on my door about 11 o'clock at night and was offering me her for $5, anything I wanted to do with her.
That
And
is
then
so not true.
If I needed any kind of drugs, cocaine,
What are you
or marijuana,
doing?
she's the one to go through.
Wow.
What'd you tell her?
I told her definitely not, and I guess that's where the hatred for us started, because I don't drink, I don't smoke cigarettes. I have no use for that
really?
type of, the rest of the people in the trailer park. It's a 55-plus trailer park. I don't know what Andrea...
How about the $5 deal? What did you tell her about that? Yeah, you skipped that deal.
This is new to me, actually.
You skipped that part. What did you say to that deal?
I wasn't interested.
Okay, you told her that? All right.
And just finding out more about her, that I heard that there's a scam that they're running, her and a couple other girlfriends of hers.
Did they get caught?
They have men arrested. Well, that's what we're here for today, is because she had me done it. She had me arrested over a
As
lies.
part of a scam?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let me get some background from you, ma'am.
Your Honor, first off, none of that is true. March 23rd is when I moved in. I lived with a guy, my baby daddy. Yes, I put up my baby up for adoption because financially I couldn't take care of it. When I moved in with my second boyfriend is when I met Robert, because he went over to my boyfriend's house asking for marijuana, pills, and crack.
Time out, Your Honor. I'm
anything
known
else.
as I don't do drugs in church
And
circles.
like every
is
single
very
time
known.
I saw him, he was either drugged up or drunk.
Definitely.
Where would you see
Your
him
Honor,
at,
she's
ma'am?
gotta be
Keep
on
quiet, sir.
He did this thing every day where he would walk around the trailer park. Sometimes he'd be stumbling. And
That's how I know everybody's business.
Exactly. He would
I'm
walk
11
all
years
around
sober.
the trailer park.
4 years
and
off
sometimes
cigarettes.
I would catch him try to pick in people's, windows.
Peep freak.
Yep.
Or peeping Tom.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Peeping Bob. His name is Robert. The man said he goes to church. He's known in the church communities as an avid
does.
Christian. Huh?
He does go to church. He did actually go to church, and as a
Your Honor,
constant
I'm
thing.
scared a lightning bolt's going to
But
come through this
honestly,
ceiling.
like,
if she
how,
keeps this up.
How can he go to church and then go back home and sin? It's sinful.
That's what all Christians do.
I know, but he's trying to make himself look like he's,
That's
God,
what
basically.
That's what the
not
church
gonna
is for
happen.
sinners. How often you go to church?
At least every Wednesday, Bible study.
How about Sunday?
Yes, I
Yeah,
I
that's
go to
who
many
go to church
churches.
the most. The sinners, they need to go to church the most. You might be on to something talking about his bad ways, because otherwise you wouldn't go to church so much. Why do you have to go to church so much if you're not sinning?
I chose that over AA meetings because the Lord helped me get off the alcohol.
That's right. Let's get to the property
Yeah.
you're suing her for, sir. How does she owe you $5,000 for property and emotional distress?
I went out of my house to have coffee, 7 o'clock in the morning.
When was this? What month?
November 2nd, 2016. And she had already had a hatred for me, and there was other girls of hers.
Why did she have the hatred for you?
Because I turned her down. I had heard about her and some other girlfriends. They're scheming, scams running about taking men and getting in their trailer and stealing stuff off of them and whatnot. So
You got me confused
I'm
with
being
somebody else.
careful with who I let in my trailer. So she approaches me one day pulling up in the car out front and says like this through the window, "Come here." And I go up to the window and she says, "What's this calling me a whore?" And I says, "Well, I really don't even know your name." About that time, she sees the neighbor girl, Pam, come around the corner. I seen her eyes get big, so that the both of them pretty much attacked on me. She gets out of her car and comes up into my yard. Pam comes into my yard. I go back in my house. The cops come. Her and the neighbor lady, Pam, are saying that I was
called the
threatening
police?
them. I guess one of them did.
My mother-in-law did.
The cops come and they want to know. The girls start telling them that I left my yard, that I grabbed a screwdriver and all this, which is totally a conclusion
Okay, and so what
of
did the
lies.
police do?
I went back in my house. The cops came over, listened to her, and she got another girl off the street. There were like 3, 4 girls testifying that this is what I did, leaving my yard and everything.
3 or 4 people say they saw you, and then what?
Right. Well, I got arrested. I did 28 days in jail. Had to get myself out.
So the judge who wouldn't give you bond believed her?
Well, I
believed those 4 people versus you?
Okay, yes, because the arresting officer didn't want to hear my side of the story.
Prosecutor didn't, the judge didn't.
So I took it to a jury trial.
What did they do?
I got papers where I was found not guilty by a jury, hands down.
By jury? Did you testify?
Yes, sir.
Why do you think he was found not guilty?
Honestly, I don't understand how he was not found guilty.
Well, you tell me about the incident.
Okay, I was actually at Pamela's house, sitting on her porch, drinking coffee. He is out on the street on his bike, starts yelling at us, telling us how much we are whores and that we should go to hell and die, and calling me a baby killer, all kinds of things. I got up, I just stood up, I didn't move any closer to him. I said, you need to leave Pamela's yard. He didn't want to. He got closer to me, he pushed me to the ground. I got up, ran across the street to my mother-in-law's house, banged on her door, till I told her, hey, call the cops.
Okay, and the police came and they arrested him. You had how many eyewitnesses?
I had 3.
Did they talk to the police?
Yes.
Who has the police report?
Me.
And so malicious prosecution, which it sounds like you're trying to get to, is where there is an intent to frame you, for lack of a better term. And there was absolutely no probable cause to believe you did something. Stated I was drinking coffee and minding my own business. He said a blue SUV driven by a female he doesn't know pulled up in front of his residence, started yelling at him. After he was arrested for aggravated assault, that's what they're saying, I transported him to District 1. While en route, Mr. Robert told me that I was a nasty bee. He said that I was a man-hater and I was such a nasty bee. This was a female officer?
Yes,
That I was such a nasty bee that no man would ever want me. He then stated that he will hope and pray every night that I am shot between the eyes. He said when he sees it on the news, he will just laugh and laugh and laugh. He then stated that he will show up at my funeral with a cup of pee and dump it on my head. This continued until we arrived. Then that's why you got them 28 days.
Your Honor.
You said all this, sir? Did you say all this to the police? You didn't say any of this?
When I was
arrested? Did you say any of this? No. All right, I don't believe you. I believe you're perjuring yourself. Your claim is dismissed.
Your Honor.
Have a good day. Yours is granted.
She caused me to lose everything I had, and she's a liar, got away with it. And the police, sheriff's officer
Robert,
was involved
I wish
in
you
it.
luck. I wish you
You
the best,
too.
honestly.
And
I hope
quit
one day
having
you
babies.
can stop being
greedy,
abusive towards women.
You're greedy, and
Just
you're
be
giving
stop-
babies
just
away
stop being
because you
abusive,
want to
honey.
do drugs. You are a drug dealer.
Yeah, okay, that's what you want to think. That's
All
fine
right,
with me.
well.
Plaintiff Kiara Simpson says she met the defendant in grade school. And when they went to college together, she went from being a goody two-shoes to a party girl who dated multiple men at the same time. Kiara's suing because she claims the defendant drove her car without permission while drunk and damaged it. Defendant Jasmine Better admits that she likes to drink, but says so does Kiara, and she gets aggressive when she drinks. Jasmine claims one night at a casino, Kiara got mad at a waitress and threw a drink in her face, and she insists she is not responsible for the damage to Kiara's car.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
All right, so me and Jasmine, we've been friends since we were little kids, since grade school. She used to be, the shy, good girl. When we got to college, she started hanging out, I think, with the wrong crowd. They became a bad influence on her.
Where?
At Howard Community College. So she started drinking more, partying. She even broke up with her boyfriend she was dating for 2 years.
What's wrong with that?
Just so she could date different guys. She
How old was she?
20.
That might have been smart.
Exactly. Yeah.
20-year-old, committed and emotionally attached to one guy at age 20 and never to see another person. My wife complains to this day. Now, when she had just turned 18.
When you guys met?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was 20, going on 21. And
Yeah, but you were an old 20. You'd done a lot before that.
So you're doing it right in the beginning, so you don't have to tell your husband in the future, like my wife tells me, you didn't get a chance to go and party and have your fun because you took me and snatched me up. So you shouldn't have been so cute. I'm you see a woman like that, you're not going to snatch her up and say, you don't date nobody. Give me some more background on it, and then we'll get to you.
Well, we haven't been communicating as much now. I'm a single parent, so my partying days are way behind me.
How old are you?
I'm 26.
Okay.
Yes. So I feel like we don't have as much as common anymore.
Give me some background.
Well, like you said, Kiera and I have been friends for a very long time. Well, had been friends for a very long time. I knew her since elementary school, sharing crayons and all that. But I really feel like over time I have realized that she can be a bit dramatic. Also, she's talking about my drinking. She also drinks as well, but she gets aggressive when she drinks. Like one time we went to the casino and one of the waitresses did something. I don't even know what the waitress did, but made her mad, so she threw her drink in the waitress's face.
What?
Really?
What?
Yes, she threw her drink in the waitress's face, and everybody got kicked out. I was mad because I was doing good on the slots that day. So she really got all of us kicked out. That really pissed me off.
How long ago was that?
This was maybe like 5 years ago, I want to say.
21? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, with her drinking, she just made poor decisions. Another example of that would be the night in question. She was drunk and she ended up getting into...
That's the car we're suing for. I'll let her tell me about that. What happened with this car?
All right. So it was my birthday 2 years ago on May 21st. We were all going to the club. She complained about her car. Something was wrong with her car. She didn't want to drive. So I had to drive on my birthday. We knew that we were going to drink. So we were going to play it by ear, to see how we were feeling if we either one of us were able to drive home at the end of the night. So we're out drinking, we're getting wasted, and we decided that we were going to split a cab fare on the way home. So I ended up getting a little too drunk and I passed out. Fast forward, I wake up in the passenger seat of my car. My car is smoking, won't turn on, and she's in the driver's seat frantic. She's very apologetic, how the car won't turn back on, and I never gave her permission to drive my car. I thought we had agreed we were going to take a cab if both of us were drunk. And
how many people were there? Just the two of you?
No, it was two other friends.
What happened to them?
They were there too.
In the car?
Yeah.
They didn't take a cab
They were
either.
drunk. One of them was passed out too, and then the other girl, she was drunk too. So we were all drunk. So I don't know why she was driving in the first place. So
you had been drinking also?
I had been drinking, but I was not drunk.
Okay, we all were drunk, Jasmine. Okay, so basically the car overheated and she continued to drive while the car was smoking. And
you just said you don't know what happened.
No, when I woke up, it was smoking.
She was driving?
When I woke up, it was smoking.
She was driving?
Yeah, she was. No. When I woke up, the car was on the side of the road.
Right.
She blew my engine.
You don't know when she stopped driving. You were passed out. You were too drunk to know what happened to your car.
She admitted after the fact that she continued to drive until it stopped running while I was smoking.
Mm-hmm. And what do you assume she could have done?
I had problems with my car.
There you go.
I had problems with my car that I would have known.
That's what happened. How did she cause your engine to blow?
She could have stopped the car.
You were drunk. You don't know whether she stopped or not. You were drunk and passed out, and now you're carless. It cost you a car.
Well, she had agreed to help with the damages.
How much help?
To pay me for the whole bill.
You agreed to pay for the entire
No.
engine?
No, I agreed to help her.
Okay.
As in, not financially, I agreed to help her as far as getting her back and forth to where she had to go. And I actually let her borrow my car a couple times.
And any help you offered, it would have been a gift?
Well, not a gift. It was just to help out because I did feel bad because I was behind the wheel. But I didn't feel as though I should have been responsible for paying for a blown out engine because I had no idea that the car was going to overheat.
Most engines already have a problem. It's overheating because of the radiator. It's overheating because it doesn't have oil in it. And they drive it for months. Sounds like that's what happened, unless you have something different.
Well, I mean, it was an older car, and I do have an email.
How old was it?
It was a 99 Honda Civic.
Okay. 18-year-old car.
Yes.
18 years old, and you want her to buy you a new engine.
Well, I feel like I cut her a break because I didn't actually buy the engine. The engine was going to be more than what the car was worth. So I found a cheaper car. I bought it for $2,500. And I had sent her, I even have an email where she agreed to pay me back.
She said she agreed to help. What type of liquor was that?
Any?
You should try something cheaper. $2,500 is way too much for whatever you were drinking that night. You just lost $2,500. You say you have evidence she agreed to pay?
Yes, I have an email.
Let's see it, please. Hey, Jasmine, this is a reminder that I'm still waiting for you to pay me back for my car you totaled. It's been almost 2 years. So what's the hold up? And it's no more IOUs. I said I would pay you back. Pay you back suggests that you owe. You only pay people back when you owe. However, the question now that has come before me is whether you're culpable, whether you damaged it. Not necessarily what you said, but what we're here in court to prove. And you'd have to prove that she damaged your car. And she says she was making reference to helping you. But I'm not going to have her accountable for a car that had a pre-existing problem. Your case is dismissed. That's a good lesson about getting drunk and passing out, folks. Have a good day.
I mean, I hope that we can become friends again, but I mean...
No, this is not over. She's lucky right now. She knows she
lucky
owes
about
me.
what?
Did you just got
drunk?
You got drunk too.
You should have gotten so drunk.
You're drinking and driving my car.
But when you decide to drink, when you decide to drive,
you
that's
say when
you
the pay someone back, you pay them back.
That's you
if you're gonna split a cab, you
that,
split a cab
okay,
with someone, Jasmine.
Plaintiff Mildred Diamond was friends with the defendant, and she says they were both crack addicts. Mildred claims she's been sober for 29 years, but she believes the defendant is still using. Mildred's suing because she claims the defendant busted out her window. Defendant Christy Roberts insists she's been sober for 9 months, and she believes Mildred is jealous because Christy has male friends who give her gifts. Christy's countersuing for unreturned property.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
Judge Yana, I've been knowing Miss Christy Roberts since 1980. We both were on crack cocaine together. I've been off of crack cocaine for 29 years.
Good. You were on how long?
I was on it for, I want to say probably about 6 years.
Okay, glad that's all.
I'm off of crack. She's still on crack.
How do you know she's still on crack?
No, that's a lie. She's still on crack.
How do you know?
She called me and said, Mildred, come and get me. I'm tired of being on crack cocaine.
When did she do that?
She did that in July.
Did you go get her?
I went and got her.
From where?
From off the streets. She was on for 2 Notch Road. So I went and picked her up, and I explained to her, you cannot live with me, but you can visit me, and I'm going to help you. She came over, and she stayed over
And this was back in July?
This was in July.
How long did she stay with you?
She stayed till August the 3rd.
Why did she leave?
She left to go with her friend. She had problems with me.
Did you see any signs of crack use while
Yes,
she
she used crack. She told me that she OD'd.
While living with you?
While living with me, she was not using crack.
Okay, good.
Cocaine for those 3 weeks.
Okay. Let me hear from you, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Your Honor, me and Mildred, she was correct. We was addicted to crack cocaine. Okay, I've been clean for 9 months. Okay, I go to meetings and I have a sponsor. And I feel that we're here now because she's jealous because I have male friends and they was giving me gifts. Okay.
Why would they give you so many gifts?
Because I was clean. And they,
and these were members of the fellowship?
No, sir. These was personal friends of mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the fact that they were all male is what she didn't like.
Exactly.
Okay. She was all right with the females, because females gave you something, right?
No, no
Why?
females.
Why only men?
Because I only dealt with male friends.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, so, and while I was there, I had disagreements because
about
I felt
what?
Well, when I was talking to male friends on the phone, seeing that she was eavesdropping, and she got jealous and told me, well, if you want to talk to them like that, you might as well go ahead and stay with them.
So once again, it's men. It's you and your men.
Exactly. Exactly.
Go ahead. What else y'all fall out about other than she jealous of you and your men?
We used to go out to eat and things of that nature, and we always got put out.
Why?
Because she would eat the food and then she'd complain about it.
And didn't want to pay?
Exactly.
Okay. And would she pay when that happens?
Yeah,
or they would just say, get out.
No, well, I would pay for mine, and they tell her that they didn't want her to return.
Oh, to return.
She's a liar.
Yes.
Okay. You haven't had a relapse in 9 months?
Sir?
Have you had a relapse in 9 months?
No, sir.
How often do you go to your NA meeting?
I go every day, and sometimes 3-4 times a day.
Good.
And I talk to my sponsor daily.
And that's how you overcome a crack addiction. You got to go every day, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day, depending on the strength that you have or depending on the severity of your crack addiction. That's why I wouldn't call you or anyone in recovery a crackhead. Because if you're in recovery and you're sincere and that's what you want to be, but if you come in here and you want to deny owing the people money when I can clearly see you on crack, when your mother says you're on crack, your brother says you're on crack, they say you ripped them off every other day, but you're going to come here and say, no, Your Honor, I ain't never had no crack. My mama lying on me. Then I got to call you a crackhead. Then I got to call you a crack. I got to embarrass you then. I got to embarrass you then and hope that embarrassment will drive you into rehab or recovery. So thank you for being in recovery.
Thank you.
Judge, I want to say something. During my crack addiction, I gave my kids the DSS. I was really out there. I had a $2,000 a day habit. I stole for it. I just feel like if Christy was offered crack cocaine for 9 months, she would be a better person, and she knows what kind of person I am. She would have no reason for our friendship. True. Well, it might not be true, Judge.
Person doesn't change immediately, and sometimes they don't always change. That's why I always say you might not be on crack, but you still have crackish ways.
Yes.
True. You act the same way you did when you were a crack addict. You all to focus in your life is on yourself. You don't believe you have to be accountable to anybody. You don't want to help anybody. Everything is about you. You don't think about what you've done to others and the pain and hurt that you've caused when you were in your crack addiction. You still have the same mentality. I don't care about anything other than myself. What we suing her for today?
Emotional distress.
What happened?
She came to my home on August the 11th, and I was in my bed. My niece Mercedes woke me up and said that Miss Christy Roberts had a crowbar beating in my door.
While you all were inside?
While we were inside, my little niece, my sister's grandbaby, was standing at the door screaming and hollering, and she was still beating in the door with the crowbar. I want to show you, Judge.
And when you got up and went down,
When I got
did
up,
you all call
I
the
stood.
police first?
I
or-
called the police. He told me that he instructed her that because she said she lived there, she had every right to get in any way that she could get in. So I said, well, sir, she doesn't live here. I said, I haven't seen her in about 3 weeks. So at that time, the police instructed me that he was on his way back. I said, okay. So when the police got there, he said, I'm gonna search your home. And Christy was already—
Search your home for what?
For some, whatever she said she left, Judge Young.
Oh, got it. Okay.
I wasn't
She
even
had told him
aware
that she left some property.
that she left some property, and I said, okay. I said, well, come on in. I said, well, sir, you're not gonna lock her up for what she's done. I said, look at the little baby, got glass. I got glass. I said, you're not gonna lock her up? He said, no, because she said she was here prior 4 days ago. I said, she lied. I said, she hasn't been here.
When did you take her key?
She never had a key. She didn't live with me. She
Right.
visited
was
me.
not.
I did.
She didn't
No,
live
ma'am,
with
you didn't. You didn't have a key.
Okay.
Go ahead. And you weren't there full time because you hadn't been there in 4 days. Go ahead. Where were you those 4 days?
I had went somewhere else.
I know you had. Go ahead.
Judge, I want you to see.
That's where you
Yes, sir. I have to sleep.
went on a
I
bench.
moved out
Go
of my
ahead.
bedroom and I sleep to the door.
Why you just didn't admit to a relapse, ma'am? Let me
I
see.
didn't.
You have
I
the
had
police
relapse,
report.
sir.
Police report, please.
Yes, sir.
And what that sounded like,
That's-
everything she described sounded like a crackhead move. Not absolutely certain, but that's what it sounds like. And your response sounded like one. Where were you for 4 days? Well, I was just out and about.
Sir, Judge, she wouldn't answer the phone for me. I was worried about her. So she said, well,
All right,
stop
ma'am, let's hear
worrying.
from you.
Yes, sir. So I have been texting her on several occasions after I left that day to get my belongings, my clothes that I left, that I kept asking for.
Let me see him, please, Doyle. Okay. And what was the response?
She would call me crackhead this, you don't live here, I don't have no belongings or anything like that. And I have 2 witness statements saying that I was there and they seen my clothes and belongings.
This is my house. You fake you jealous of my success, what my girlfriend gave you, and you would not take it. I gave you that. You still a crackhead, so go find you somebody to play with. You are a crackhead, and that's what you always will be, and not welcomed to my house. Why were you so hostile about it?
She kept calling me, and I kept calling her, and she
Asking for
wouldn't
my
answer for me. She never asked me for anything.
But no, ma'am, but when she asked you, she was very clear.
When she
on
asked me
this
what?
date. When could she come and get her things?
I
That's
told her
why.
she could come and get them, but I didn't know that she left anything. When she left, she took her things, Judge. I didn't get up to look behind her.
Now, your emotional distress, how did she cause you emotional distress?
Judge, glass was everywhere, all over my foyer, all in my house.
Y'all
I had
have
to-
something in this report where the police admits to telling her to get in there any way
Yes,
she
sir.
can?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, this woman essentially
The-
obeyed law enforcement
the-
telling her what to do. But certainly, ma'am, she don't give you your stuff, you sue her. You ain't kicking the door or busting the windows. After standing at the door and attempting to make contact with individuals, I advised Roberts that if she lived there and was illegally evicted, she could do what she needed to do to gain entry. Well, first of all, evicted presumes that you were a tenant, and you weren't a tenant, ma'am. Whatever the police told you, you knew you weren't a tenant. You didn't have any keys. You were in and out of there all the time. You were not her tenant. They're saying a tenant. And so you should have known, you had a responsibility to know your status when you living in somebody's house. Next you're gonna be saying, I'm the wife. You can't just determine your own status. When you go to somebody, I ain't going nowhere, I'm a tenant now. Well, you don't have no keys, and I didn't tell you. You said this was a temporary stay, and I changed my mind, I'm a tenant. You can't dictate the status of your being in somebody else's house. What do you want to say, young lady?
First of all,
Stand up and state your name.
My name is Mercedes Stillwell. On that day, it was my birthday, and ever since then, I haven't wanted to leave my aunt there while her door was like that. I have came down for my uncle's funeral, and I have met her at the Passover, And I wasn't living with my aunt then. I was staying with my sister-in-law at the time. But when I had came to my aunt's house, because she was giving me a get-together for my birthday, and after that incident had happened, I just didn't want to leave her while the door was like that.
Thank you. And your counterclaim for unreturned property, you're saying she still has some of it
Yes.
there? What is it?
Clothes, all my clothes.
You have a list of the clothing?
Yes, sir.
Oh, it sounds like you're being honest. A lot of folks come in here and say they had $10,000 for clothes in there. Yeah, you're saying you had 300 and the
Yes.
things here, hey, look reasonable. Shorts, $10. I don't know if I should, well, it's on here. Underwear, you only want $10.
Yeah, I mean,
So
it
that only
was on
means you
sale.
had
I
one
went to
pair of them. You know I have. You know when you come in here, you subject yourself to a little fun.
Oh, yes,
That's your own
definitely.
Now, you the one had to be that. You said I left everything that I own there.
Yeah, I just had on what
And
I
the only,
clothes I had.
we done. What do you say about her items, ma'am?
Judge, I don't know what she had to leave there because like I said, when she left, she took a bag. I didn't search around. I was really under the weather, and anything she asked me for, I've always given it to her. I have no reason to keep her property.
All right, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm convinced based on what I believe her honesty. Anytime somebody give you a list and say, I ain't got but one pair of drawers in my life, they are being honest. She is being honest, so nothing you can tell me about that.
6 people were
So
at
you're
my
gonna
house.
get, ma'am,
Yes, sir.
$300 for your items that I believe somehow are either still there or were illegally disposed of. You're gonna get that.
Okay, thank
And
you.
always be honest like that, even if
Yes.
it doesn't sound very flattering. And you, ma'am, I'll give you your $3,000 because I do believe, ma'am, that was illegal. You knew you weren't a resident, and you knew that's why she had never given you a key. And I'm going to grant her her judgment, even though she's not asking for the windows, because she wanted more. And that was for the emotional distress. And certainly somebody banging on your door and then busting your windows is emotional distress to the tune of what she's asking for. A young lady, she didn't prepped her. You'd been in court a lot. She prepped her. She prepped her. Tell her you can't sleep. I'll tell him I'll never see my niece again, Your Honor, at the house because of what happened. And that's emotional distress. So you knew what to do and you did it right. $3,300 for you. Have a good day.
I want to tell Christy, as a friend, past friend, please get you some real help. Because real help is out there. But you got to stop stealing from people and feeling like they owe you something. Get you some help.
I have known that. God bless her, and I hope she's satisfied.
Plaintiff Megan Smith is engaged to the defendant's son, and she claims the defendant does not like her. Megan claims after a disagreement with the defendant, she filed a bogus restraining order against Megan, and Megan's suing her today for unreturned property. Defendant Kimberly Anders says she has custody of her son's children because he was a heroin addict, and she begged him not to date Megan because she too abuses heroin. Kimberly is countersuing Megan for harassment.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
I know Kimberly Anders because she's my fiance Johnny, his mother. Me and Johnny have known each other since we were 14. Just recently, in May of 2018, we started dating again. During that time, I got to know Kim a little bit better because I was over at her house regularly. Johnny's got kids, I have kids. I bring the kids over, we all play together. And then once things started getting serious between me and Johnny, then all of a sudden she flipped and decided it wasn't okay for me.
Why do you think that is?
That I wasn't really sure why. I didn't
Did
really.
you ask him, your fiance?
He said
why your
that-
mother doesn't like me?
I asked him, he said it's actually typical of her to do that in all of his past relationships.
That's not true.
She starts liking them at first while they're dating, but as soon as they turn and start having a serious relationship, then all of a sudden it's a problem.
Got it.
That's what happened to me.
Okay.
On Christmas of this past year, we wanted to get the kids together and do Christmas together like a normal couple would, but we weren't able to do that because of Kimberly Anders didn't want me over at the house. So we waited till all the kids went to bed, and I picked Johnny up, and we had to go exchange gifts in the parking lot down the street.
Come on.
Yeah, I know. We had to exchange gifts.
I don't believe that.
We really did. Honest to God, we had to exchange
She said
gifts
it's
in
not
a parking
true. I
lot
don't
in the
believe
car.
Does she stay up all night? I don't think so.
No, that's why it was supposed
You
to be.
don't party all night, do you? You do party all night?
No.
All right, all right.
I should join the crowd, right?
We waited till
But my point is, you could have waited till she went to bed.
We did. We waited till about midnight.
Then why'd you have to go in the parking lot? Go ahead.
Why?
though.
Because I couldn't come in the house. They have a very.
She sleep. Go in that house.
They have a very small trailer that is.
Go ahead. All
you
right.
can hear all the way through it.
Okay.
So
she would have
there-
known.
That wasn't
even
happening.
in her. All right. She'd have woke up and saw you. Go ahead.
So we went to a parking lot, exchanged gifts, and when I came back, she came running out like a maniac, pounding on my passenger side door. Johnny rolled down the window. She like lunged in my car, putting her finger in my face.
Saying
screaming
what?
All types of profanities and screaming that Johnny,
About what?
Johnny abandoned his kids and that while the kids were sleeping, he abandoned them. I know. And that I'm ridiculous and that I need to stay away. And so Johnny got her out of the car and he opened the door and he went inside and I left. The next morning I come to find out she went and filed a restraining order against me.
Saying you
even
did
though
what?
she's the
Saying
one
that you did what?
saying that I tried to run her over with my car. And
Did
that
you?
no. She was in my car. It was kind of hard for her to.
How did she get in?
I wasn't inside.
He rolled down the window and she lunged. She had her whole body up to her waist in my car with her finger in my face.
Okay, ma'am, what do you say to this?
Your Honor, I had my oldest son passed away. John is my youngest son and a twin at that. I have custody of his 4 little children, 2, 6, 7, and 8-year-old, all due to heroin. All due to heroin. John got out of prison for the 3rd time.
When was that? Did he got out the 3rd time?
The last time he got out of prison, well, not the last time, the time before the last time was last year. Thought I was going to see a little bit of light at the end of the table for my grandchildren because
was it before they became close?
Yes,
Give me the
Your Honor.
timeline.
Yes.
Was it before
Like,
May of 18 or after May of 18?
before. And then my nightmare began again. I felt like I was reliving the heroin situation. John got with Megan. I begged him not to. It was time for him and
Why?
because of the heroin, and she also drank a lot. She's
You believed she was on heroin?
I know for a fact she
How?
was on. Because she was at my home.
I know. Did she do it in front of you?
In the car at the end of the driveway.
You saw her?
And her doing drugs.
That's a
You
lie,
saw
Your
her?
Honor.
That's not a lie. Yes.
Or
both
you saw
of them.
evidence of it? I mean, evidence of it is also...
In the car, needles.
That's a lie, Your Honor.
It's not a lie. Anyways.
You've never
what
had
happened
needles
was-
around? Where?
Not in my car.
In her car. Oh, I'm
Anybody's
sorry.
car.
No, I did not have needles. No, Your Honor.
You've never been around needles in folks' cars?
Not in my car. No, Your Honor.
Okay, you keep evading the answer, so that makes me think it's true. Your only response is, not my car, not my car. The car next to me, maybe. His car, maybe. Or the night we used his mother's car, they probably had them needles in your car. She ain't saying whose they were in, she just said it wasn't my car.
Correct.
I don't mean to trivialize the heroin use and the addiction because that is serious and I'm sure it hurts you and your family and it has. So in this instance, however, you believed based on evidence that you saw with your own eyes that the plaintiff was doing heroin along with your son.
Yes, 100%.
Okay. And then where did things go from there? That's kind of you start what?
I left.
Complaining? Go ahead.
Went to the store. Came home, my house was locked. My son was there, supposedly by himself with 2 of the grandchildren. The other 2 went with me. So I put my purse, my bags down, open the door, walk in. My house is locked, my grandchildren locked outside because Miss Megan Smith and my son, John Andrews, were in my bed, having sex. I froze. But you locked, not just that, you
How
locked my...
old are the children, ma'am?
2.5, 6, 7, and 8.
You are
Selfish
telling me some
needs.
unbelievable stuff. Now, if you're telling me they were in there doing heroin to get their due because they were about to get sick, I might go for that. They're dope fiends, not sex fiends.
I caught
Now,
them
make
in
up
the
your
act.
mind.
The 2-year-old wasn't home. They were playing with my older children.
I don't believe that, man. They ain't put no 2-year-old out the house to have sex.
The 2-year-old was with me, the 6, 7, and 8.
Go ahead, all right.
I lost it. She went down the hall, went out the back door. John's like, Mom, I said, go. Don't ever come back on my premises. I cannot relive this. I almost didn't make it through your brother's tragedy.
What happened to his brother?
My oldest son I lost because of heroin, so I'm reliving it again because these two do drugs together. It's a nightmare, so I didn't want any drama around my grandchildren. He comes home from prison, he gets help, he goes to meetings. I'm like, maybe a little bit of light in the tunnel. He gets with her, the same thing happened. He goes to a meeting. I specifically was called by a girl saying he was in this meeting. Megan threw such a fit. He had to leave an important meeting because she was there and he talked to her. It is just...
That never happened.
I just want it to stop. I just cannot have the drama.
You on heroin? Have you ever been on heroin?
It is...
No?
No, Your Honor.
My son's in rehab again.
That's your son. She says she hasn't, man. She says she's never used, and I really do sympathize with you with that.
It's
struggle.
a nightmare.
Yeah,
it's a nightmare.
That is a lot of pain, ma'am, and I really sympathize with you.
Thank you. It
Really
doesn't ever go away.
Yes, sympathize with you. So, ma'am, tell me about the property you're suing her for.
So the property is an Xbox One that I purchased for Johnny and the kids to play Xbox with. Since we weren't allowed at Kim's house and we weren't allowed to really hang out and everybody get together, we played on the Xbox systems. She purchased one for one of Johnny's children, and she found out that we were all playing together, and that was a problem. So then I went and purchased an Xbox One so Johnny could use it, and him and the kids and all of us could play together. My kids, me, him, his kids, all of us together. And then she said, well, you can't play that on my TV. So I went and purchased a TV monitor, a computer monitor, so he could play it on that. Then she turned into it not using my electricity. So then he had to do it either when she was at work or when she was asleep. Then we could all play together.
Go ahead.
Johnny had to turn himself in for a violation of probation.
She hasn't
and she wouldn't
given it
return
back.
it. But because she had the peace order on me, I couldn't personally go back and get it, and I couldn't call her or ask her or contact her in any form myself to try to get it back once he returned himself.
Okay, ma'am, what do you say to this?
I had purchased the Xbox for my little grandson last Christmas. Then, a few days later, I come home from work. John says, Mom, I bought the kids an Xbox. I said, why? I just bought little John one for Christmas. That's all he wanted. And he said, no, because 2 can play in the living room, which that's where it's set up. 2 can play in the back room. He said, but it's not brand new. And I said, it doesn't matter, but wait a minute, where'd it come from? I had no idea. You were doing good, but who knows? I've been down that road. So he went back in the back room. He hooked it all up. The kids in the girls' room had a television. He put it up on the wall for them to hook the game player to it, so the 2 in the living room and the 2 in the back could all play together. I said, John, just make sure that TV is secure, doesn't fall. I'm scared to death. I'm crazy like that, scared it'll fall and hit him. He said, Mom, I got this. So they played and played for a while. John has to go back to jail again for violating getting high.
Let me ask you why you
That's
want...
a lie.
Ma'am, hold on. She wants that Xbox that John paid for his children?
Yes,
Is that
Your
what
Honor.
you're looking to get?
No,
Yes.
I have an Xbox that I purchased. I have the
All right, which Xbox? I didn't hear the 2. Now we have one that she purchased and gave to the grandson. Then she says now there was a second one that John purchased and gave to the children.
Correct.
So, is that true?
John did not purchase an Xbox. I purchased an Xbox, and I let Johnny borrow it until we got our place.
Why won't he give it back to you?
It's at her house. How can he get it if she won't let him in the house?
Because he's in jail. That's
he's not
why
in
he
jail
can't.
now.
You gave it to him. He put it in the house.
And set it up.
So you want it back. You can only get it back from John. What's your counterclaim for, ma'am?
My landlord, I almost got thrown out because of the drama in the middle of the night.
What else?
Leaving work early, missing work, staying up, make sure she didn't damage my vehicle. She was threatening and all.
That's all lies.
I just want.
Now you can talk about threatening, but all the things you just described are the consequences of having a child who is addicted to heroin.
I know, Your Honor.
So I can't grant you a judgment for that.
Okay.
But if she was threatening you, then yes, that is harassment. So tell me about that.
She broke the peace order, sending texts to my grandchildren.
Who put the peace order out?
I did.
Okay, you have it today?
Yes, Your
All
Honor.
right, that's indicative, ma'am, of harassment.
They've gone.
If the judge
Yes.
agreed to give a restraining order, that's indicative that that judge believed you were harassing her. What else?
Then she sent messages. The judge told her to quit on my phone or through. My grandchildren were in therapy. My son was incarcerated time. She's sending messages through the TV. Your grandmother and your aunt's lying. Your daddy loves you. I'll see him today.
You have any evidence on that?
Here's messages.
Ma'am, what do you say to these things?
What I say is
It doesn't
the
stop.
violation of the peace order we went to court for, and it was dismissed.
No, not the first one.
The first one was dismissed. The
No,
second
it
one
was
dismissed.
for 6 months.
Why did the issue one in the first place?
I didn't violate it. Her son.
Whether you violated it or not, they only issue it if they believe you are a threat to a person. That's the only way the judge will put his stamp and or signature. He has to be convinced. And he put his stamp and signature on here. So since he believed that, and now I'm looking at communications you made through third parties about her, I'm going to conclude that you did harass her. But I'm going to grant you your 1,000. Secondly, ma'am, please just do the best you can in coping with what you're working with. Perhaps there's some support groups out there. There's a lot of things now that they're helping drug addicts or opioid addicts with. Good luck to you. $1,000 for the counterclaimant. Yours is dismissed.
Thank you. Love thy neighbor. You're always trying to someone.
And nobody's ever harassed anybody. This woman has made our life living hell. Me and her son and her grandchildren. Who sits there and treats their grandchildren and their child the way that she does? She is a nut job who needs serious help. Seriously.